Hello there, and welcome to another Cabin Crew English video. This one I was asked by Georgiana to upload for a video about interview skills and questions. So I've had a look around, but bear in mind that most airlines will have their own questions, but they probably all mean about the same thing. So the first one I want to look at is what you know about the duties of a cabin crew member. Well, they're pretty basic, but you know, you have to attend a briefing before the flight, the obvious ones of serving beverages and food, duty free, and making announcements. What else do we have? Oh yes, you might have to deal with some in-flight emergencies, perhaps a fire, or a passenger is sick, or someone needs first aid. Those are just a few, but I'm sure you know the rest yourself. Next one. What is the most important skill required by a member of an airline cabin crew? Well, for me, I would think it would be people skills. Otherwise, why would you be stuck in a plane with all those people if you didn't like getting on with people? So very simple there. And, you know, maybe be a bit diplomatic as well, you know, because you might have to deal with someone who is difficult. And of course, you also need to have a good standard of English as well as basic maths. So, another one, what are your interests? He's not trying to be nosy, he's just, or idle chit chat, he's just trying to get to know a little bit more about you. So for example, your interests might be reading, hiking, going walks with friends, things like that. Just keep it simple, doesn't need to be complicated. And what do you know about this airline? So I suggest that before you go for an interview, you research the airline and find out if they are expanding their fleet. Things like use LinkedIn as well to see if you can find any staff profiles. Look on their website if they have one. Like I say, find out if they're expanding their fleet. Is there any bad news about them? You know, do some research. And then the one is, why do you want to join this airline? Well, again, it could come down to something like, well, you're expanding your fleet. I've heard you're a good airline to work for. A friend of mine works for your airline and recommended that I apply. Simple things. They may have also received some airline awards. Their growth and success. They're really good with their staff. Strengths. This is a good question. So, what are your strengths? It's basically a mixture of talents, knowledge and skills. Okay? So you can say something like this. I can learn things easily. I am a hard worker. I am a quick learner and a self-motivated person. My strengths are hardworking, self-motivation, positive attitude towards work, and flexible enough to adapt to change. So that's a few there. And tell me about your areas of improvement. Don't be too honest here, because we all do have a fault or two. So use your weaknesses to your advantage. Maybe you can describe a personal or professional weakness that could be considered, a strength, and the steps you have taken to improve it, or you know, make it better. Now let's go to the next one. How would you deal with a difficult or negative situation in your life? So, many ways. First of all, figure out how to react. Before doing anything, give yourself a minute to calm down. Look at it like an obstacle that needs to be overcome. Let's see, what else? Keep yourself motivated. Those are some ways you can deal with a negative situation. They may ask you this one. Who are the major competitors of this airline? Again, that comes down to research. Find out, use Google, use LinkedIn, use all of the tools at your advantage to find out who the competitors are. And the last one for this video. What is the customer care policy of this airline? Now, they will vary from airline to airline. But again, find out. See if you can get onto a forum, either Facebook or LinkedIn or some other kind of forum where the people will share their experiences as working as a cabin crew member. And for that matter, there might even be forums about how good or bad an airline is. Basically, it's all down to research for most of these questions. But one thing I will say is don't dodge the question. Be honest. Answer the question. Don't hum and haw and Don't be like that. Try and be articulate. But if the interview is in English and you're not sure about an English word, don't use words that you don't know the meaning of just because it sounds good. Okay? So that's all for this one, and I'll make a couple more in the next few days. Okay? Bye bye for now.